These are the cheapest web hosting providers available right now. But are they any good? Well, yes, some of them are. Some of them. In my quest to find the best budget web hosting providers, I bought plans ranging from $1 to around $7 a month. What I didn't expect was how wildly different the experience is, considering the price only differs slightly. Since I bought plans from Fastcomet, IONOS, DreamHost, Hostinger, WebHostMost, InterServer, Bluehost, and ChemiCloud, let's start with the cheapest option and work our way up to the most expensive one. Of course, keep in mind that sometimes the most expensive options aren't the best. Sometimes. Now, if you're trying to save the most money possible, going with the absolute cheapest option is probably not the best idea. Let me explain. IONOS is $1 a month. Now, straight up, this is a marketing gimmick. The plan actually costs $12 a month, but you get to try it for 1 year for $12. And then it's $12 a month, not a year. By the way, all web hosting providers do this. It's cheaper at first, then it gets more expensive, so I'll track the introductory price, the final price, and we'll use averages. If I apply this logic to my pricing chart that I showed you earlier, you can immediately see a different story and a difference in the overall price. But for now, let's stick to the introductory price. So it would seem like you're getting to trial a $12 a month product for just $1 a month with IONOS. It should be incredible, right? No, it's worse than a free web hosting provider for some reason. This is how fast the website loads. This is real time, by the way. And most of the time, I simply get an error. If I go to my control panel, you can see that I'm not using any resources. This is a simple site, but IONOS recommends I switch to performance level 5? Whatever the hell that means for an extra $5 a month, because my current resources just aren't enough. So most of the time I just see an error page when I try to load my site. If it breaks under one user, in my mind, that's borderline unusable, even though it's just $12 a year. Avoid at all costs. Next up, Fastcomet at almost double the price, $1.79 a month, but of course, the renewal is $8.95 a month, so it averages out at around $5.37. Fastcomet is a lot better than IONOS because it doesn't crash under one user immediately, but that's only like the bare minimum you would expect, so in a real-world scenario, this plan is still not very viable. While you do get acceptable performance with a single user on your site, it crashes as soon as 10 people visit it at once. I tested this by sending 50 bots to my site in 1 minute, and as soon as it passed 10 users, my website took over 15 seconds to load the page and eventually just crashed. The average time it takes for the server to respond is around 2 seconds based on my 3-month test, and that means that even if only one user is on your site, each action will be delayed by around 2 seconds. Besides the low price point, it has nothing going for it. It feels cheap, it's laggy, the control panel is confusing, and hard to use. And there are no special tools included, as it's just as bare bones as it gets. The only situation where I would consider getting this, if I needed the cheapest possible solution for a school project or a presentation, that it only needs to stay online once with one user and then I can't forget about it. Because its only standout feature is it works with one user. Now, it would seem like cheap hosting is a bad idea, but if you go over the $2 a month mark, in my opinion, the first truly good option that you should consider or straight up get right now is WebHostMost. Comes in at $2.50 if you buy a 3-year plan. If you buy for a shorter period of time, like 1 year, it's $3.50, and 1 month is $5. While this information might seem insignificant, it's important to mention that almost no web hosting providers actually offer monthly pricing. They all advertise monthly pricing, but they all expect you to prepay for 1 year or 3 years or 4 years in advance. So what initially seems like a low monthly price becomes a large upfront sum on checkout. That's why WebHostMost allowing you to buy just 1 month of hosting for just $5 or truly pay monthly. It's a rare feature in the web hosting space. Now, The cheapest plan for $2.50 does not include a free website name with the purchase, so you would need to purchase it separately. While you can use WebHostMost for this as well, from my experience, you can get a cheaper name elsewhere. For example, Pork Bun actually offers the cheapest website names that I've found so far. Like here, you just type in the website name you want on Pork Bun and it will show you if it's available. So you buy the name you want, and of course names like .com are more expensive than names like .xyz, but generally $11 a year for a website name ending in .com is the cheapest that you can get right now. But for the video, I went with the .xyz that just cost me $2 a year. And I can attach this name to WebHostMost or any other web hosting provider, no problems at all. While keeping the prices low, WebHostMost uses top-of-the-line hardware. And I'm not even sure how this is possible, but they have the latest stuff. NVMe storage that's much faster than traditional solutions, Lightspeed servers, again outperforming the other two most popular solutions on the market right now, and worldwide server coverage. Even their website is available in multiple languages and accepts a variety of local currencies, as well as you can get a 14-day free trial with no payment information needed. Here's a real-time loading speed test of the free trial, and I've actually created an identical website of both with the trial plan and the micro plan. And the performance is really close together. The micro plan responded in just 90 milliseconds and fully loaded in 1.5 seconds, while the pro plan responded in 80 milliseconds and fully loaded in 1.1 second. Compared to IONOS or Fastcomet, this is a night and day difference, like 300 times better. Of course, I've also stress tested these plans. The Pro plan, well, the trial version of it, performed exceptionally well. With 50 users visiting the site, I bumped the number up to 150 users in 1 minute, and the plan handled it with no problems. And even when sending 300 users to the website in 1 minute, it still managed to average a load time of 3.3 seconds. Excellent results, and with 300 times the load, they're still better than Fastcomet or IONOS. I love WebHostMost because they're still a relatively new company that's trying to get their foot in the market, so you can get a 14-day trial as I mentioned. Just choose I already have a domain name and use your Pork Bun name. Without adding any payment information, it's a few clicks and you're in. Of course, I'm a user of WebHostMost, so I have other plans on my account, but here's my free one. To connect it with Pork Bun, I just copy-paste all of the name server information, and the rest gets done automatically. Once your trial expires, you don't get charged automatically since you never added any payment details. You'll either have to manually renew or it gets cancelled. So no predatory tactics here. The only downside of WebHostMost is that they're using a less traditional control panel called Direct Admin. It's not worse, it just might look intimidating compared to other options on this list. But it still allows you to do everything, it just has a different layout. So if you're looking for the best performance for the lowest price, you won't get a better deal. But not everyone needs the most power out of their plans. Sometimes ease of use and website creation tools are more important than raw performance. That's where the next entry in this list comes in. Hostinger and its $2.69 plan. If you use the link in the description, you do get an extra 10% off. By the way, I'll give discount links for all providers I talk about in this video, so you'll always get the best price using them. Hostinger is known as the budget king. The performance you get with their plans is not going to be as good as WebHostMost because Hostinger offers fewer resources for the same price, and their renewal price is way higher, but it's still tons better than IONOS or Fastcomet. I'm talking like 100x better. However, the biggest selling point of Hostinger is that their plans come with free tools that beginners find extremely useful when starting out. Mainly, you get a free domain name, so you don't have to buy one separately. You get a free website builder tool, meaning you can build your website using a drag and drop tool and easy to edit templates instead of WordPress or other development tools. And you get a free trial of their AI builder, where you can just chat with it, and the tool will build and host the most complex websites or apps you can imagine by giving you just the final link where it can be reached. All edits are made via text only, so it's a text to website tool that's fully automatic. Really cool. You get security tools to actively protect your website from attacks, and from my experience, Hostinger is the easiest to use website hosting platform in the industry. Literally, anyone can build great looking websites using one of their tools that comes bundled in together for free. And while you do get fewer resources, the performance of your websites will still be fine in 95% of cases. For example here, this website loads in around 1.4 seconds with a server response time of 140 milliseconds. Sadly, I can't stress test this because Hostinger security automatically detects my bot traffic and shuts it down. It's actually a very cool technology that can be seen in action here. I've sent 1,000 bots to my site, but none of them are reaching the page. All of them got redirected because Hostinger uses a system called remotely triggered black hole, redirecting all 1,000 users to basically nowhere, into a black hole instead of your site. So attackers can't take your website down. And it's impossible to deactivate this tool, so I can't really stress test this, but from my own personal experience, these plans can handle up to like 120, 150 simultaneous users at the same time without degrading the performance at all. Everything about Hostinger does not feel like a budget choice. It feels premium, it looks nice, and it works fast. You get 24/7 support, and you get automated tools to make your life easier, like having a backup made automatically every week. Website vulnerability scans and their systems can handle website updates automatically as well. The biggest downside for me personally is the renewal price. It's not cheap after your initial plan expires, and the support feels lackluster, mostly being replaced by AI tools at this point. But in their defense, they do have tons of videos, and the system in general is quite easy to use, to not need the help of support in most cases. I host tens of websites on Hostinger at this point, probably even nearing 100, and some of them are publicly available if you want to test them for yourself. Just go to uptime.Emit.Reviews.com. But, and there is a but, you can't really pay monthly. You have to prepay for 4 years in advance to get the best price. I told you web hosting providers do this very sneaky tactic. A lot. If you pay monthly, it's $12 a month, an absolute thievery. It's not worth $12 a month. To get the $2.69 a month price, you'll have to prepay for 4 years and use the link in the description for the Emit.Reviews coupon code. On top of that, after the 4 years are up, the price goes up from $2.69 a month to $10.99 a month for the next 4 years. So it's gonna be $527, which is a steep increase. But for the $2.69 a month, it's an absolute monster of a plan. A super easy recommendation to make, and when it's time to renew the plan for $10.99, well, you can either export your files and move elsewhere, or maybe you'll find that the service is worth it, even at a higher price, because Hostinger does keep adding new features and support for existing users at no additional cost. So by the time the 4 years are up, well, the service might just as well be worth $10.99 for you for the convenience of it alone. Now, let's skip ahead a little bit to the most expensive entry on this list, Bluehost for $295, and the renewal is $11.95, so the average price is $7.47. While Bluehost advertises super high speeds on their website, it's actually one of the worst entries on this list. First of all, I could barely get it working after purchase. It took hours for my website to be even stable enough to perform a test. I was getting too many request errors by just trying to set it up. Performing any sort of speed test was impossible, and visiting my site directly, well, Just look at this atrocious loading speed. I mean, I'll leave it up on the screen in real time so you can see just how unusable it really is after purchase. But Bluehost is notorious for being an overpriced, overmarketed service. I have a full dedicated video on them that you can find somewhere on the screen right now. I go in depth on why exactly they fail as a hosting provider, but in short, I have been testing Bluehost for over a year. Actually, over multiple years. And the average server response time is always around 0.8 seconds. This is bad. With Hostinger, it's 140 milliseconds. With WebHostMost, it's 80 milliseconds. By the way, just so we're on the same page, response time measures how fast the server is able to respond and start loading your website after someone visits it. So Bluehost essentially takes almost a full second on average. In some cases, it's 1.6 seconds just to respond and start doing the work. So it'll take another 2 to 3 seconds for the site to fully load. Meanwhile, providers like Hostinger or WebHostMost are generally done loading the whole site by the time Bluehost even starts. Even 2 hours after my initial purchase, I still couldn't access my WordPress dashboard to start working on my site properly due to errors.
What the f is this?
I wouldn't use this service if it was free, let alone for the price they're charging, which is absurd. Avoid at all cost. I highly recommend you never touch anything Bluehost related in your life. Okay, at this point we have DreamHost, ChemiCloud and InterServer left as the cheap options. All in all, they don't really do anything special. Their price isn't the lowest, they don't have any notable technological advantage over WebHostMost or Hostinger, and they don't have any special features or add-ons you might need. They're just good, standalone services. No errors, excellent speed, functional service, but nothing to make them an obvious advantage over other choices. The best standout offers of these providers are as follows. DreamHost, the cheapest properly functioning yearly plan. You can get a 1-year plan with a domain name included for just $35 if you use the link in the description for the discount. The interface is very modern, the support is meh, and the performance is okay, but it is the cheapest option if you want hosting for just 1 year and that's it. Which is actually quite an often scenario if you're just starting out a business and you're not sure about it. As for InterServer, they have their own data centers that is in the US and will offer the best performance for US-based websites. And they do allow monthly payments, but they're $7 a month if you do that. However, you can get 1 year without a domain name this time for $27, but you have to use the code Emit.Reviews to get 1 month for just 1 cent to trigger this price. Keep in mind that InterServer has quite an old-looking user interface, but their performance is absolutely top-notch. I've never had an issue with it, but it is harder to recommend to beginners due to this confusing mess of an interface. And ChemiCloud, again, by using the link in the description, you can get a much better price than the original website. But just like with Hostinger, you're forced to buy for 3 years upfront, which is not a very attractive deal. ChemiCloud uses a modern and easy-to-use interface mixed with cPanel, but other than that, their most standout feature is their support, which isn't AI, but rather actual humans that respond fast and are generally helpful, especially for the price that you're paying. I think they do offer the best support if that's what you're looking for. So, taking all of this into consideration, what do you actually buy out of all of these choices? Obviously, Fastcomet, IONOS, and Bluehost are a hard pass, not worth at any price point. But if I were to choose what to buy as my first web host, I'd probably go with Hostinger if I planned on creating an online business or brand. The tools they offer can't be found anywhere else, the initial price is very good, and the overall bundle of services is unmatched. Free logo creators, email services, easy coding and website building tools are all included in the price, so it has everything a new business needs. But if I was looking for the best price to performance ratio, and I was sure that I'm building a WordPress or a custom coded project, not messing around with any website builders, WebHostMost hands down. the best performing choice for the lowest price, and the ability to truly pay monthly. Quite coincidentally, it's also the fastest option on this list. So it just doesn't come with all of the bells and whistles that Hostinger has going for it. As for ChemiCloud, InterServer, and DreamHost, they're good and reliable platforms, but you're not getting any add-ons for the price. So it's just a good, reliable, easy-to-use hosting that won't fail you, but won't wow you as well. Now I know that most of you are probably first-time website builders, so here's a guide on how to properly configure your server and create a website with Hostinger, step by step if you do decide to take that leap. But on my channel you can find standalone guides and reviews for all of these platforms that I talked in this video. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you around.